Okay, we're going to start by making the toolbar in the costume editor. This will just be a nice box, dark grey with a lighter grey fill. And on the top we want the tabs. So basically you will hover your mouse over these to change the current tab. We'll just move them into place now. And what a toolbar basically is, if you don't already know, it's like a ribbon that you have in a software or game, and it displays things like options. In Word, for example, you can insert stuff, you can change the options, stuff like that. So it's a really good thing that you should put in your game. I think we'll only fit 4 of them on here. Try and space them as evenly as I can. Now we're going to fill them with a lighter grey. So the line will appear over the top of them, as you can see, to give the effect that the tabs are behind the current one. So if you rub out the line on this one, for example, it'll look like this one is over the top of the others. Can you see the illusion there? And so if you rub out the line on the other ones, it'll look like they're above. And this is the theme we're going to go for getting the costumes on the different tabs. So we'll call this tab number 1. And what Scratch will do is change the number at the end of the costume for you, which is quite a cool feature. So since this is tab number 2, we're going to put the line back over this one, so it looks like it's behind, and remove the line from the second tab. Just using the brush tool and set it to the same colour. And you notice I didn't use my gradient fill like I normally did. I'd have liked to, but you see the process we're going through now, using the paintbrush to rub out the lines. We couldn't do that if we had a gradient fill, as you can probably tell, because we'd have to select the right colour in the gradient, which wouldn't work anyway. So I'm just using a solid colour, which is a lot easier. And finally, tab number 4. Just put the line back over the first one. And rub it out on the last. So now it looks like that one is above the others. So now we've got all the costumes done, we need to make a system where it'll know which one to turn to. So what we're going to do now is, do you see the bit at the top, the part that the user will click on? We're going to select this and delete everything else, and I'll show you what we're going to do next. So move it out of the way so we can delete all the other rubbish. Get rid of that, move that into the middle, and we're going to turn this into a new sprite. Just right click on the costume and hit turn into new sprite. We're doing this because we want a way for it to know which tab to turn to, and so when the mouse is over this little tab I've made here, I'll just rename the sprites. So when the mouse is over it, it will switch to that tab. It's an easy way to do this. but first we need to drag it over the top so the user doesn't notice the difference. They need to look like they're the same sprite essentially. This is just an area that the user needs to put the mouse over. So we're going to duplicate it for each tab, moving the position each time. And the reason I've put this function in to go to X position and Y, this is because if you accidentally move the sprite around in the editor, you just have to click the green flag to reset the positions, which is a great way if you ever make this mistake. So I suggest doing this. And you can see at the top it tells you the position. You just need to change this in the script. So you can see it's -44 at the top, the X position, but we'll move it into place now and it changes to 58. So we'll just input 58 in the X position there, so when we hit green it will move to that place. And we'll just do it for the last tab. So this will be at X position 179. Just put that in. And Bob's your uncle. They're all in position now. So we need to add a sensor. But first we need to make a variable which will determine what the current tab number is. We'll just call this tab number. So when you move your mouse over each tab, it will change the variable to the corresponding tab number. So the toolbar sprite needs to change costume depending on what tab you're on. This can be easily achieved. All you use is the function switch to costume, and you can put a variable in there. So for instance, if it's costume number 1, it'll mean it's on tab number 1, which is quite a cool feature of Scratch. So I'm just adding the forever if. So if it's touching the mouse pointer, it will change the tab variable to the right number. So for the first tab it'll be 1. So if your mouse is over it, you can see there the toolbar sprite is switched to costume number 1 because the tab variable was set to number 1. And you can just click and drag this script over different sprites and it will duplicate it and drop it in there. So obviously you'll need to change the tab number here. So 3 for this one and 4. So now we'll hit the green flag and see if it works. Yeah, you can see the variable changing and the costume changing. That's pretty cool. Something you might want to do is add a sound in to just make it more responsive. You could just do this by going into sounds and importing the sound. Now Scratch has got loads of sounds in the library. The one I like to use is pop. So you just... No, you wouldn't put it in there actually. Otherwise it'd be forever playing that. What you need to do is go into each of these sprites here and just plop it in there. But I'm not going to do it because I don't really want to. But yeah, you just put it in there, so whenever your mouse is over, it will play that sound. So what about displaying information in each tab? Well, we're going to make a sprite to show this. So we'll just make it say this is tab number 1. So what we want to do is having this sprite only displaying on tab number 1. And we'll make a new one for each tab. I'm just going to change it here to tab number 2 so you know that it actually does work. Number 3. And finally, number 4. Now if we go into scripts, when green flag clicked, we want it to hide, and we want it to go to this position. It'll be the same for everyone. They'll all be in the same position, but they'll be on different tabs. So how are we going to do this? Well, it's actually quite simple. Just stick a forever loop in there, if, then go into operators, get that, and tab number equals 1. So if tab number equals 1, we want it to show. Actually, we'll need an if else for this, because if tab number doesn't equal 1, we want it to hide. Now we'll just drag it across to the other sprites, and we'll change the tab number so that they'll only appear on the correct tab. Don't forget to attach it to the script before it, otherwise it won't run. So this will be number 3, and that'll be number 4. I'll just show you now it working. So we switch to tab number 3 and it'll show the correct information. So if you've got things like options on the 4th tab, you could just get them displayed on that tab. You could have things like insert on the 2nd tab, just unique information on each one. So I hope you enjoyed this little tip you can use in Scratch to create Toolbar. Make sure you like and subscribe, and keep watching Team Overload It with some new cool videos. See you later.